Okay, so shalom. So look, I know most of the time I come here, right? When I give these messages, right? It's it's straight judgmental scriptures, right? You know, whether I'm talking about the gangster rap, or whether I'm talking about you wicked niggas, or whether I'm talking about anything in particular. Today, I'm not going to dwell on those things. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't condone certain lyrics. I don't condone slandering. I don't condone, um, you know, certain behaviors and things of that nature. I don't condone theft. I don't condone turncoats. I don't condone gossip. I don't condone liars, right? And I don't condone murderers, right? People that kill innocent people, right? So that's the all those things are against the commandments of God, right? But that's not what I'm here to talk about today, right? So I'm here to give a message to you all today. And I want to start off with saying to my people that I do love my people, okay? Now, I'm trying to say that in the least likely mushy way possible. Because you MFers, you shit on mushiness. And you shit on certain types of integrities and certain types of uh, righteousness, righteous speech. So I want to be very careful, but I want to give you all a message today. Okay, this is a really good message, but I'm telling you, and I got a lot going on now. I know I say that as if none of you have a lot going on, because I know all of us have a lot going on. I don't want to come over here and say, well, I got all these things going on, like none of you have nothing going on. Because if you are a black man, now, wait now, black women too, but black women don't have as much going on as black men. Now, I'm not trying to be sexist or egotistical or chauvinistic, right? Black people in general, we got it bad, okay? But the black man here in America has all types of things against him. Now, what's even worse to be than a black man here in America is a black man here in America that speaks the word of God. That's even worse. Okay? I don't want to know. I'm not saying that. Matter of fact, I don't care how y'all feel about it. But what's worse than being a black man in America? A black man who's a prophet of God in America. That's actually twice as worse as being a black man. Being a black man is twice as worse as being a black woman. And being a black man, a prophet of God, is twice as worse as being an ordinary black man. So there's some things going on now, some falsehoods that's going on now, right? That I'm battling and I'm going up against, and I'm taking these things head on. Why? Because I'm a very noble person. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna let anybody. Let the slanders go ahead and people gonna mock and stuff like that. But when certain things come close and it's threatening, then these things I have to deal with, and these things I have to take care of, and show myself a morale person. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not worried about anything. But now, this message is basically to the black man first. And if you are an Arab man or a Caucasian man or a China man, or if you are an African man, or if you are Japanese man, Indian man, okay? I don't have to mention the Amalekites, because you guys are real tricky. You're a wicked nation, right? But if you are of another nation, this message is for you. You can listen to this message. But understand that you're not going to feel the effects of this message the way an Israelite, the way a black person is going to feel the effects of this message. Okay? So now, I want to get right into it. Now, this message is titled, Be Careful. This message is titled, Be Careful, right? And he's going to say, okay, that's what I wanted to, that's basically my intro, what I wanted to say. I already said it. And, okay. I want to say one more thing before I get into the message. I want everybody to understand something, right? Yahusha, right? Yahushua HaMashiach, Christ, right, is bad for business, okay? I just want everybody to know that. So, I need you all to understand. I'm not going to get the scriptures, right? There's plenty of scriptures that says Yahushua HaMashiach is bad for business. What type of business am I talking about? I'm not talking about the business and the war of the kingdom. I'm a soldier of the kingdom. I'm not talking about that. He's good for that business. But everything else in this world, Christ is bad for business. Christ is bad for business if you want to sell something. And I'm not talking about even really Jesus is the false Messiah, right? He's becoming worse for business, right? Why? Because it's associated with the truth, right? Even though it's not the truth, we know it's a falsehood. It's a false name. It's a false characteristic, right? And it's a false image. But even though it's the white man's image and the white man's likeness of God, just because people are understanding the true identity of the Messiah and understanding his true circumstances, simply because of that, even Jesus now is becoming worse for business. But it's still not anywhere near as bad as you admittingly being openly admittingly being a soldier for Yahushua HaMashiach, the true Messiah of heaven and earth. Okay, so you have to understand that most likely Yahushua is bad for business. Okay, you're not going to sell any items, any merch, if you're openly speaking of Yahushua. Very, very seldom. Not saying it's impossible, because there are people in the circumcision that are inclined to the name Yahushua or Yahushua or whatever the case, right? And not saying that you won't sell any items, but for the most part, you're not going to be able to run a business selling merch openly admitting Yahushua HaMashiach. It's just not going to happen. Okay? You're not going to sell your platform. I'm not going to have a popular platform openly standing for Yahushua HaMashiach. These things are just not going to happen. And people are overthinking, and they think I'm a threat to them. That's foolishness, right? The only person that I'm a threat to is Satan and his minions and the wicked people of the earth. So if you're a wicked person of the earth, then yeah, in that case, consider me a threat, right? Now, as I told you all, I need you all to understand something, right? There's going to come a point in time where I'm simply going to be forced to speak more. But right now, I got a lot going on. And, as many of you all can come on social media and make money, and I also want to address that, right? Because I'm speaking to my brothers and my sisters. If there's any of you all, I know there's a wide range of you all that you make money on social media. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. Okay? Today is not the message where I'm going guerrilla. Okay? Because there's a reason for this. I'm giving you all a break today. Okay? And I have a legitimate reason for doing that. So I understand that many of you all, you make money on social media, right? And by all means necessary, feed your family, put stuff on the table, and do the things that you have to do, right? But in the same token, Just have some morale behind it. Don't sacrifice your morale for it, but you know, don't sacrifice your character for it. But just do what you have to do, and by all means, certainly put food on the table. Okay, so I'm not. I know there's many of you have platforms out there. Many of you have platforms out there, both men and women. Okay, just go ahead and do what you got to do. All right. So, in terms of me, however, Yahushua HaMashiach is awful for business. He's a good man. He's a stand-up man, but I'm not going to get any likes or now. Don't get me wrong. Let's not twist anything. Christ had followers. Okay, the people that followed Christ most likely were very brave, and the people that followed Satan most likely were suckers. It's the same way today. So if you are a follower of, even if you're a follower, now listen, I don't want to get people thinking that they have to start openly speaking for Yahushua HaMashiach, because I know that there are some social media personalities, some rappers, some singers, even here in Philadelphia, who love Yahushua HaMashiach. You love Christ, and you listen to me. It's only intelligent right now that unless you're ready to risk everything, it's only if you're somebody that your name stands for anything. If you're a rapper, if you're a singer, and you're a comedian, if your name stands for anything, it is very intelligent not to even mention Yahushua HaMashiach. Okay? Does that make you a sucker? Does that make you somebody who's not truly a believer or not truly a soldier for Christ? No, it doesn't. It just means that, and I'm going to get into that into a minute, right? Well, I can say this for much. That just means that Christ told us to be wise as a serpent. So if you're somebody, because I know that there's plenty of you out there with heart, very stand-up men, very stand-up women, and y'all stand for Christ, and you're doing it silently, and I understand. You have to put right now, you got to make sure that you put food on that table for those children. That's simply a must. Okay? That's something that you have to do by all means and necessary. Right now, don't get me wrong. Nothing necessarily should come before Christ, but see, that's the next level. I don't expect you all to be on that level right now. Just stay believers. Stay listening to my ministry, right? I'll do the dirty work. I want you all to become believers. And as you become believers, when there will come times when you're not going to have a choice. It's not going to matter anymore, right? Because everything is crumbling down. So all the things in this world, you have to understand, they're going to become rubble, dust. The mansions, the cars, the Bentleys, the fly diamond rings, and the cool shades, the pretty shades. Some of you do wear a nice pair of shades, by the way. I'm not mad at y'all shades, right? There's one lady, what's her name? What they call her? I think they Bentley Niche or whatever. Man, that young lady can wear some shades. I get that to her. Okay, but just all of these things, are coming to an end, and nobody's going to be disrespected during this message. Okay, nobody's going to be disrespected during this message. Okay. As for my black men and my black women, I do have a sincere compassion for you all, regardless of how you all think of me. I have a sincere compassion for you all, and I want you all to just hearken into the truth. And this is a good message that I got coming for you all, okay? So just understand that all the red bottoms and all of the necklaces and the chains and the $4, $5, $6 million watches and all of these fly clothes and I like to wear a sneaker. Nobody's perfect in this battle. You understand what I'm saying? So I know in many cases I can be harsh. Now, I'm not going to be necessarily soft today, right? Because I want you to understand that all the shit is going to a nothing. Everything is coming from its pomp and it's falling. I'm telling y'all that right now. So you can be stupid if you want to and continue on in your foolishness and walking around like chickens with your heads cut off. You're going to get caught by surprise. And I'm going to warn you all. That's something that you don't want. Okay? that's something that you don't want. There's probably a few scriptures that I need to add here. Okay? Do me a favor. See, it's already a kind of a lengthy message. Okay? But there's just some scriptures that says, wait for Elohim. Because when you wait for him, that means that you have faith for him. But you know what? I'm not going to even get, because many of you, let me just keep this simple stupid, okay? Not calling it, that's a saying, right? It's a saying called keep it simple stupid, right? I used to, when I was in school, I used to need my teachers to do that for me, especially in English. I don't know what problems I had with English, because English was certainly an easy course for most of you all, but it's probably because when I was young, I was arrogant. So arrogance has a lot to do with learning. So one of the reasons why I'm so humble today is because, believe it or not, whether you all believe it or not, at one point in my life, I was extremely arrogant. And Christ brings me trials and tribulations so that I can remain humble, so that I can stay focused on keep my eye on the prize. Because if not, believe it or not, me myself can get kind of conceited. Okay? So I don't want to go back to those ways, because those conceited ways are very wicked, and you'll never gain anything from having conceited ways. Okay? But in a nutshell, and I know I've spoken enough to get to this message, but in a nutshell, I just want you all to understand. Some of you, and the majority of you, are in trouble, because the majority of you simply do not care about Yahusha. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be a very hot day for many of you, I promise. Okay? But just to finish what I was saying, Yahusha HaMashiach is horrible for business. He's a horrible for business person. You know what I'm saying? Whoever admits that see, so you see how me being a messenger, how there are people that probably today would not admit openly that they know me. Why? Because of the trials and the tribulations that apostles and prophets of God must undergo, and then they become individualized. They become alienated. They become ostracized from society. And I mean, not so bad, right? You know, but it's really not too bad at all on that necessarily, right? But there will come times where this road and this path as an apostle and a prophet of God will become more complex, right? And only true stand-up people. And I understand that slander is vicious. So I'm not angry. Like I said, I'm not angry with many people right now who are still just sitting back and that they're just playing everything by vision. They're playing everything by ear. They want to see the complete outcast, because there's some people that would like to stand by me, but they're shaky with it. And I don't blame them, because slander is a very vicious witchcraft. And nobody knows which way which when someone is slandered. You know, there's some things that if someone said about somebody, I simply wouldn't mess with that person. And that's probably wrong, but it's not necessarily, because you don't know. You don't know. So ultimately, though, Christ does bring his soldiers to freedom from these wicked things, but there will be a moment in time when Christ will clear my name, okay? And you all will know, because you all will know it's Christ doing it too, okay? Now, let's get into this, okay? Let's get into this. So, I want you all to understand something, right? The title of this message is Be Careful, okay? The title of this message is Be Careful. I'm primarily, first and foremost, I'm speaking to the children of Israel. I'm speaking to the black people scattered abroad across the four corners of the planet. If there's anyone else that would like to listen, because there's certainly, there's certainly you can take heed to this information, and certainly this information can do you some good. So it's best to pay attention, any and everyone who's tuned in, and just listen, okay? So there are Chinese soldiers. Now, America is a wicked place, and I've been trying to tell you all that there's these wars and rumors of wars are the beginning of the end. Now, I told you all this, right? Many of you don't want to believe me. Some of you see this shit happening, right? But you still, because you despise me so much, or envious, or whatever the case may be, right? Maybe you just don't have the honor for me. Whatever the reason is that you choose not to hearken into this malak, because these are not my words, these are the words of the scriptures, right? The scriptures, all I'm doing is giving you words of the scriptures, and I'm telling you some underground truth, some underground facts that many of you may not have known. Okay, now you'd be surprised the things I know. I don't even tell you all, not purposely, but just simply because right now I'm not speaking enough. And it's also pretty dangerous to speak too much at this point as well, right? Not as dangerous as it's going to get, but just bear with me here. But you all would be surprised that I don't even tell you 3 or 4% of the things. I only tell you 3 or 4% of the knowledge that I have compassed about me. Okay? Many of you have no idea the things that I know. You have no idea. Okay? Some of these things aren't even mentioned in the underground. Some of this information was given me by the Spirit of God. And many of you won't believe that, because that's too far-fetched, right? That would make me something like a psychic or a prophet or a seer, right? Certainly, I'm not that. No, and I'm not that. But there's some things that the Spirit of God can bring to his apostles, his prophets. But let's get to let's get to the beginning, shall we? Okay. Nothing even came out. Okay? Now, there are Chinese soldiers on America's payroll. There are secretly, America is secretly paying Chinese soldiers. Now, I want you all to understand something. America is the most powerful country according to the sneaky shit that they got underground. Okay? America got some shit underground that can wipe everybody on the face of the planet off, right? Away, right? But China has the financial might. See, this is what you understand. Don't get me wrong. China's powerful nuclear, and they got some sneaky shit too, right? But it's just not in comparison to America. But what makes China not being powerful, more powerful than America according to might, it's more powerful than America financially. You see? So, China is a financial juggernaut. Now, people say, well, ain't every country? No. America is not a financial juggernaut. America is broke. Did y'all hear what I just told y'all? This country is broke. Now, we're not going to get into it too much because it's foolishness. Because you have to understand something about currency. Currency is digital. Currency is digital now. Right now, what I'm speaking to you all, currency is digital. The greenback, the paperback. Now, there's inflation happening. So, liquidity, and someone might have to correct me if I'm wrong, but as inflation goes, liquidity, the strength of liquidity drops. Now, I could be wrong. There are some scholars that you can look up to. What's his name? Watkins. He's Boyd Watkins. He's on Instagram, and he's pretty sharp at this type of stuff. So if you wanna really know what's going on, but because I'm not gonna play that field because that's not my field. Even though you'd be surprised, my knowledge is not slim on that, right? Not by a long shot, but I don't want to, play myself, right? Because that's not my avenue, right? But I know enough to tell you all that we're definitely in inflation, okay? Now, You got to understand something, right? Now, some people say, well, gold is currency. Gold is currency. Silver is currency, right? But ultimately, gold and silver is a gimmick also. Okay? There will come a time when there will be bartering. And no one's going to want gold or silver unless they're going to, because it's not really going to be worth anything. You don't have to believe me right now. You'll see shortly. Maybe not shortly, not next year, the year after next, but in the somewhat near future, many of you are going to understand these things. The only things that are actually going to be valuable is skills and bartering. Bartering is trading. Let me give you an example. I'll trade you this tire. I have a fresh tire that fits your vehicle. I'll give you this tire. I'll give you this tire and this bottle of water if you give me that firearm. That person may have a few firearms, and I may have something that he needs, like he may have a flat tire. I'll give him my tire and this bottle of water. He give me that firearm. I got a couple cans of soup, or should I say a couple cans of peas, right? Couple cans of peas, right? And maybe maybe I got my hands on some bread, right? That person has a nice pair of shoes with a good sole on them. If many of you are too young to know about the movie Mad Max, you can go watch the movie Mad Max and understand that the apocalyptic times are coming. Okay? There's some things that have to take place, but they're coming. See, you have to understand, what is gold going to be worth under those circumstances? When people get gold and get silver during those times, the only thing they're going to do with that gold and that silver is melt it down, probably solder it down to make it of something of use. Money will be completely a thing of the past. There will be no money. If somebody see a $100 bill, Ben Franklin laying on the ground, they're going to walk right past it. It's not going. Money ain't going to mean shit during these times because there's nothing to purchase. Because it's not going to have any value. The only thing that's going to have value is trading and skill sets. Hey, I'm a mechanic. I'll fix your alternator. I heard that you are a prophet of Elohim. The land will be barren of faith. Teach me and my family the word of Christ, because the word of Christ won't be able to be found anywhere. And I'll fix your alternator. Tell us, who is Christ? Tell us, where is the kingdom? Has kingdom come unto us? Hey, you fix my alternator. I'll fix your pair of shoes. Carpenter come. Chop down some trees. Make a little hut for me and my family. I'll give you this here. I got 2 vehicles. I don't need them both. You take one. Make you a carpenter. Make me and my family a place to put our heads. And then, when you get that, you're going to have to defend that with your life. Especially if you got your family with you. Now, that's in the distant future. Not too distant. Remember, I estimated 2049, 2050. Some people think sooner. Some people think a little later. I'm not pushing that. But let me finally begin this message.